Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're going to dive into a really big shift happening in cybersecurity, how threat intelligence is helping organizations move from constantly playing defense to getting out ahead with a powerful, proactive strategy. So let's jump right in.
But let me start by asking you a question, and I want you to really think about it for your own organization. Are your cyber defenses flying blind? It's a blunt question, I know, but it gets right to the heart of why this stuff is so incredibly important.
To really get why threat intelligence is such a game changer, we first need to understand what life is like without it. So that brings us to Section 1, Fighting in the Dark. And that phrase really says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures what security teams are up against when they're operating in the blind.
You know, flying blind, it's not just one problem. It's a whole cascade of them. Your detection is slower. Your response is slower. You've got a million alerts firing, and you have no idea which ones are a real fire and which are just smoke. So your team is scrambling, burning out, and using resources inefficiently. And all of that, well, it just means you're way more likely to get hit with a serious breach. You're always reacting, always a step behind.
And this right here, this is the perfect way to think about it. Imagine you're defending a fortress, but your guards can only see what's right in front of their faces. They have no scouts, no spies, no idea that a massive army is quietly gathering just over the next hill, figuring out the weakest spot in your wall. That's what it's like. That complete lack of foresight is the problem.
Okay, so that's the problem. It's pretty grim, right? So how do we fix it? Well, that leads us right into Section 2, Turning on the Lights. This is where threat intelligence steps into the spotlight, and believe me, it changes the entire game.
So, what is threat intelligence really? At its heart, it's all about one thing: actionable insights. It's not about drowning you in more data. No way. It's the exact opposite. It's about taking all that noise, all that raw data, and turning it into a clear signal that tells your security team what's happening, why it matters, and what to do about it fast. And wow, this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? The difference is night and day. On the left, that's the old world. Reactive, inefficient, always responding to alarms, basically just putting out fires. But on the right, that's where you want to be. Proactive, anticipating what's coming, and actually preventing incidents before they even happen. It's a total mindset shift.
And look, this isn't just some high-level theory. We're talking about real, tangible benefits here. It helps you see attacks forming on the horizon. It tells you which threats to tackle first based on actual risk to your business. It ensures your people and your expensive security tools are focused on the right things. Basically, you stop guessing and start making smart, data-driven decisions.
All right, I know what you're probably thinking. This sounds amazing, but how does it actually work? What's the secret sauce? Well, that brings us to Section 3, the intelligence engine. We're going to pop the hood and see how this thing is built.
Think of it like a cycle, a loop that's always running. It all starts with number 1, data collection. You're pulling in raw information from everywhere: your own network logs, public threat feeds, private sources, you name it. Then step 2, and this is the magic: analysis. This is where smart people and smart technology turn that mountain of data into meaningful insights. Third, dissemination. You got to get the right info to the right people at the right time. And finally, and most importantly, actionable insights. It ends with clear, concise recommendations on what you need to do right now.
Okay, and it's super important to get this. Not all threat intel is created equal. There are different flavors for different jobs. Tactical intel is your frontline stuff. Malicious IP addresses, bad domains. Your firewall eats this stuff up. Then there's operational intelligence. This is about the who and the how. What are the attacker's favorite tools and techniques? This helps your threat hunters connect the dots. And then you have strategic intelligence. This is the big picture stuff for leadership. What are the major trends, who's targeting our industry, and what are the long-term risks we need to worry about? You really need all of these working together.
So, knowing all this is great, but turning that knowledge into actual protection, well, that's a whole different ballgame. And that's what Section 4 is all about. From insight to action, let's talk about making it happen in the real world.
And let's be real for a second, this isn't a magic wand. There are some serious hurdles to clear. A lot of organizations get completely buried in data, so much intel they don't know what to do with it. Getting these new intelligence feeds to actually talk to your existing firewalls and security tools can be a nightmare. And maybe the biggest one, you need people with the right skills to make sense of it all.
But the good news is, these are solvable problems. It's not impossible. The absolute key is collaboration. Security can't do this alone in a dark room. They need to work with IT and the business leaders.
Next, you have to lean on automation to help sort through all the noise. You also have to be ruthless about prioritizing the intelligence that actually matters to you. And finally, what's always the best investment? Training your people. Always.
If you remember one thing from this section, make it this: integration. Threat intelligence is useless if it just sits on a shelf or in a report that nobody reads. You have to bake it directly into your security tools and your team's daily workflows. A threat intelligence platform, or a TIP, is a huge help here for centralizing everything. And critically, this has to be a living system. As you learn new things, you have to update your defenses and your playbooks. They can never be set in stone.
All right, this brings us to the home stretch, our final section. This is where we talk about the long game, the ultimate goal. Section 5. Building a smarter defense. This is where it all comes together.
And this right here, this is maybe the most important idea of all. Adopting threat intelligence isn't like installing a new piece of software and calling it a day. It's not a one-time fix. It is a fundamental commitment to a process, a continuous cycle of learning, adapting, and getting better every single day.
So what does that cycle actually look like? Well, it's a feedback loop. Every time something happens, even a minor incident, you do a deep dive and ask, what did we miss? How can we do better? You take those lessons and you feed them right back into the system. Your detection rules get smarter, your response plans get sharper, and you're always scanning the horizon for what's next. You're constantly getting stronger.
You know, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the end goal here. It's all about making that huge shift from scrambling to react to confidently being proactive, because that's how you truly reduce the damage, the cost, and the chaos of security incidents.
So, we're going to end right back where we started with one last question for you to take away. The threat landscape is changing faster than ever. Attackers are constantly coming up with new tricks. In that kind of world, just defending against what you saw yesterday, well, that's a losing strategy. So the real question you have to ask yourself is, are you getting ready for tomorrow's threats, or are you still stuck fighting yesterday's?